now time for us to draw the Druid. And after we have drawn the Druid, you will have drawn the Druid. You drew him and you drew it. And that's how the Druid came to be. So we're going to start off with a little round head, long neck. This guy is very skinny, but wiry. He's got thin muscles, like somebody who walks all the time. So he's got these huge calf muscles and skinny little legs. This knobby elbow here. Little bird living in his hand. Now this guy, he looks like a wizard. He's a druid. Wizards are fanciful creatures, as in Harry Potter, The Lord of the Rings, stories like that. So this guy looks kind of like Gandalf, or maybe he looks like Dumbledore. But he's modeled after a druid. Now, druids were real characters. They wandered around England and Europe way back in the Middle Ages, before that even, when the Romans were the big power. And this guy was roaming around himself, no doubt, just about the same time. All right. So we've roughed him in. We're going to go in and we're going to add all those details. Now, he's got kind of ratty, tattered clothing here. His hat is the worse for wear. No doubt spent many a hot and cold day wandering along the countryside. Wow, those are some crazy eyebrows he's got going on there. I got pretty long eyebrows myself, I will admit. Eyebrows are one of those things that just keep growing. Like my ears and my nose. Nose and ears keep getting bigger when you get old. I'm going to give him that Roman nose, that majestic looking thing. He's got white hair like Mr. Dawson. Oh, yeah. Creepy looking bird with his big empty eyes. If he were a wizard, the bird would probably be a familiar. That's when you have a pet that's actually smarter than the average animal you carry around with you. It's sort of your partner in all of your adventures. And of course, he's got a big old staff here. We'll just hint at the wood grain here. Take a little bit of time and put some detail into his fingers. They're long and gnarly. He's just wearing a cloak. So we sketched in here where his elbow goes and everything, but you can't actually see it because it's covered up by his cloak. He's got these long dangling sleeves. So even though we know where all of his pieces parts are, they're covered up by his clothing. Even though we don't see them, it's good to sketch them in, good to know where they are, because that helps you to make the clothing look more realistic. Add the folds where they go. He's skinny enough we can see his kneecaps, and they have this weird kind of almost a skull shape to them, don't they? And you'll notice on the drawing lesson here, he puts a lot of detail into the left foot that's closer to us, and not so much detail into the right foot that's farther away. He draws a very distinct set of toes here. And you'll see artists do that fairly often. They'll add a lot of detail in one case and then not so much in the other, because they've already given you enough to fill in with your brain, fill it in on your own instead of having to rely on them to show you everything. We've talked about how sometimes putting in too much detail actually makes it look less realistic. It'll indicate he's got hairy legs, of course. Let's see, what else do we need to do? Oh, he's got all kinds of decorations going on. His beard, he's got a bone in it for some reason. He has this little collection of bones hanging off. Maybe some leaves on it. Maybe he's just hiking around in the hills. Coming down into the forest. There we go. We've got our druid or a wizard or whatever character you want him to be. You can make up your own stories, put them together with the Amazon warrior, the silly Knigget we did last week, and draw up your own fantasy story. All right. I will see you all next week.